Hello everyone, how are you? Thank you for joining me in this video. Today I'm looking at my Lenormand collection. I have about 18 Lenormand decks. I'm going to go ahead and count them all. I think at the last count there were 18. And to be honest with you, initially I wanted to do a tarot deck collection to showcase all my decks, but I quickly realized it was just like a gigantic effort. I mean, I don't have 600 tarot decks or anything like that, but I do have over 100. It might even be closer to 150. And the thought of taking them all out of my tarot cabinet and going through them, it will make for quite a long video. And I'm just not really prepared for that at this time. Maybe when we move house, whenever that might be, and I've got to actually pack them all away anyway, I might do it then. But anyway, for today, I thought I'd just start with something a bit more achievable and look at my Lenormand decks. So I'm showing my face in front of the camera actually to start off the video because I haven't done that in quite a while. And sometimes with some YouTube channels, if I don't see a real person in front of the camera now and then, not all the time, but I would like to know, who is actually behind the videos on a particular channel, and especially if the voice seems a bit, not authentic as well. I sort of wonder, is this like a real person, or is it like some sort of artificial intelligence construct or something like that? I mean, I'm sure you all know that I'm real. But I thought it'd be a nice change to just show my face and say hello to you all. So I'm gonna spin the camera around because I find it's just a nicer viewing experience to go through each Lenormand deck one by one and spend a couple of minutes explaining why I got it or how I came to it and what my thoughts are. I'll try not to waffle on for too long, and as always, cup of tea. Feel free to join me as we take a look at some of my Lenormand decks. I should actually clarify that while I got my first Lenormand deck, which is for me the Melissa Lenormand, and I did a let's see if that will actually focus. I'm not sure if it will. I did do a video on this a while back. It won't, that's right. I did a review and a flip through of the deck a while ago. So I got my Melissa Lenormand back, I don't know, 2010, 2011, something like that. And I also bought the creator's other deck, the Postmark Lenormand, at the same time or around about the same time. And then I couldn't really work out Lenormand, like it just didn't, it didn't really gel with me. I couldn't really understand it. I found it just a bit too confusing or difficult, which is a shame because now that I've spent some time learning with it, really delving into it and doing practice readings for myself and for some friends as well. I don't use it a lot in paid readings. Now and then I might, but it's not something that I like. It's not my first go-to, basically. I actually think it's incredibly powerful as a divination deck. So I if you are in that category where it's just not quite gelling or making sense, all I can say is, persist with it because it's certainly incredibly powerful. And in some instances, I prefer it over tarot. So anyway, let's that's another story. So let's go ahead and have a look at my 18 decks. Okay, so first up is my first deck, as mentioned, Melissa Lenormand. This is the box that it came in, but now I keep it in this nice little wooden box. And I've got a review of this deck up on my channel, which I did not that long ago with a flip through if you are interested in it. What I loved about it, very briefly, is that it's got this really nice sort of a vintagey feel, and I really appreciate that. However, it is a fairly cluttered deck for a Lenormand deck, and therefore is not one that I would recommend for beginners. But in any case, it is long out of print, so it's unlikely you can find it very easily. I haven't seen anyone work with it, at least in the recent couple of years on YouTube. Right here. Moving along, the creator Melissa Hill also did a postmark Lenormand. It came in this really nice cloth bag, and it's basically a Lenormand deck based on postcard images. And very briefly, this one's much more appealing to younger readers because you see the images are not cluttered, they're very simple. The ring is ring, you know, child, the scythe shows someone with a scythe. So I find this one a really useful deck for readings, and for some reason it really works incredibly well for me. Maybe because it's just so old and I've used it so much. I did end up spilling coffee one early morning. It was black in my tower room, and I didn't have my light turned on in any way. I actually spilled my cup of coffee over it, but you can't really tell. Even on the back, you can certainly tell it's starting to wear out quite a bit because the cardstock isn't very sturdy. It does come with extra cards. For we get a cat card, got a man and a lady too. So anyway, that's deck number 2. The postmark Lenormand, also by Melissa Hill. And this one also came with a mini Lenormand. So I actually had to go out and get the mini postmark because I keep this one in my handbag. And this is just a candy box that I bought to put it in. So it didn't come with a bag or a box or anything, and it's basically like a mini version of the postmark Lenormand that you saw before. So just like a tiny version of it, and I love it because it is so portable. I keep it in this nifty little box of Italian licorice sweets, and I actually bought this just for the just for the box itself. The actual candy inside was terrible, but anyway, moving along. Deck number 4, the Enchanted Lenormand Oracle, and I keep this in a bag that I made myself. So I knitted this little bag. I had this super soft certified organic cotton that was like hand spun or something like that, and it's incredibly soft. And I didn't really know what to use it for. Like I do these things where I buy something because I just love the concept behind it, and then I'm like, what do I do with it? But I did think of making a couple of Lenormand bags and knitting them, so I did that. And this is the initial box that it actually came in. It's a really big box because it comes with a decent booklet for it. If I quickly have a look, this is like a mainstream publication. It's still in print, fairly accessible and reasonably affordable. I loved this Lenormand because it has a softer, romantic feel about it, and I just really love that. I'm a sucker for beautiful, romantic feel, you know, soft and just calming sort of decks. I really love that. I guess I'm quite conservative in a way. Yeah, this is the Enchanted Lenormand Oracle. It's a really fantastic deck. It was created by Caitlin Matthews, and it has a very good book. And Caitlin Matthews actually has really good information on Lenormand. I think she's got another book just on Lenormand itself, but I would highly recommend it. Next up, one of the cheaper ones that I bought, also in a hand-knitted bag. Now this is a mainstream publication. It's just, I think it's called The White Owl, because of the box having this owl on the box. And I think I paid a few years ago about, I don't know, $12 or $14 for it. Very ubiquitous. These are like traditional Lenormands with the playing card inserts, and I use this really regularly. This is like the no-nonsense sort of deck for me. You know, if I just don't want any ambiguity, I kind of pull this one out. Great for readings. So, and it's like I said, it's a really traditional form of representing the Lenormand cards. Okay, I actually don't know what number I'm up to now, but we'll forge ahead. And then I've got these two here. Not much difference between them. Both I acquired roughly around the same price, which was I think a few years back. So this is well before COVID, or a couple of years before COVID. Or maybe not. Maybe it was very early on in COVID. I really can't confirm, but basically I paid around $14 each for these two. And they're just standard decks. There's nothing, you know, incredibly different about them. They even have similar backs. Let me just show you. Okay, so if I do that, you can see the back is the same, and the only difference is that the one on the left has the playing card insert and the other one doesn't. So this one's really great for beginners because you're not gonna read the playing card inserts. You're not gonna really be into all of them when you're first learning the Lenormand. It's tricky enough to just understand the card meanings and put them together, which is where the magic of Lenormand comes together. You know, you put three cards together and try and understand the meaning of that. But in terms of imagery or anything like that, it's really stock standard. They do have different images for the cards. So like if I compare the house, you know, they are quite different. But all in all, you know, either of these will work really great as a reading deck. Another mainstream publication is the Mystical Lenormand. This is by Urania, and this is a bit of a stranger one, a bit different, not that great for beginners, but still a nice little reading deck for once you get a bit more seasoned and experienced in your Lenormand. I say it's not that great for beginners because just the way like some of the images are shown can throw you off. You know, like in here we've got, you know, the path, which is the crossroads coming up for this lady, but then you've got this sort of, you know, Capricorn. I think it's the astrological glyph for Capricorn, or like some sort of mythical sea creature. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, some of them are straightforward, like the fox, and then others are just like the lily showing the Japanese setting. You know, they can be quite, you know, the tower showing the person actually imprisoned in the tower. You can't help but associate some keywords with that might not be traditional Lenormand keywords, and that's why I wouldn't go for this as a beginner. You know, if you're really at the very beginning of your Lenormand journey, then maybe wait a while to get this. It's still a great, very interesting, makes for a very interesting reading deck. Okay, next up, the Fairy Tale Lenormand. This is artwork by Lisa Hunt, so it's absolutely stunning. You know, this is one of those ones that I keep wanting to just pass on. I don't know what it is about it. I can't, and I thought I would love it. Well, I do love the imagery, but I don't know. I can't connect it in my can't connect with it in my readings. It's got such beautiful artwork. She's done a fantastic job, and yet when it comes to reading, it just, I don't know. I keep holding on to it because I love it so much. Purely from the aesthetic point of view, but from a practical reading point of view, I don't know. There's some sort of blockage there going on with this Lenormand deck. So anyway, it is mainstream. You can still find this in print, and I think still reasonably affordable. And now let's have a look at some more out of print or interesting Lenormands that I have. So my tarot teacher gifted me this one. It is by Carrie Paris, and that's the tin that I was gifted it in. I'm not sure if it comes in this tin originally. I think it does. I don't actually know much about it. And it's called, I think it's called the Revolution Lenormand. Let me just pull this up and have a look. So the cards are the Lenormand Revolution, sorry. The cards are very, very small for even for like a Lenormand, and as you know, Lenormand cards are very small cards. And I'll just show you some of the images. Absolutely adore this little deck. I don't know how you can get your hands around one. I think only if they come up for sale on, you know, rare card like Facebook groups and things like that. But yeah, it's so tiny, it's tricky to film. So that's the tree. Very interesting images. Again, a bit different to the usual. It's got a very French sort of flavor to it. At least for me it does. Oh yeah, it's got, so at the very top it's got the keywords in French, and then on the side in the corner they are in English. Fantastic for readings, but not one I use a lot, simply because it is quite different, and I don't know, I have to be in a certain energetic way to read with this deck. I can't describe it any other way. Okay, it's not my staple. It's not a staple for readings for me, for personal readings. Okay, but nonetheless, I love it, and you know, being so rare, out of print, and so on, I think I do treasure it. And above all, the fact that it was gifted by my tarot teacher makes me just hold this one very close to my heart. So that's the Revolution, or the Lenormand Revolution deck by Carrie Paris. Another one that I acquired, I think this year actually, was the Lua Lenormand by Marie Bento. I bought the second hand. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I think it was around 40 something, around the $40 mark. Now, she does have, if I'm correct, she does have a tarot deck with the same artistic style. What I love about this deck is that it actually has lots of additional male and female characters. So I'll show you. So these are the extras. These are the extra ones. You know, and they're both, let me put them there. They're both male and female on the numbered cards. So, you know, on Lenormand, the man card is number 28. But what we will have actually, and the woman is number 29. So here we have 29, a lady, 29, another lady, and then 29 we have a gentleman, number 29, another gentleman, then a lady, another gentleman. You actually have a lot of options to choose from, and that's fantastic when you need to do a reading either for a couple that is, you know, same-sex couple, or you need to do a reading, as I have done. I think the last time I've used this, I've used it for a work reading, and I think if my memory serves me correct, I was looking at, you know, relationship dynamics with coworkers, or also with, you know, your manager. If they're like the same sex as you, then it's great to have two ladies in the deck, and it gives you that option. I do like the black and white cards, and I love the images. Not sure how good it is as a beginning deck. You know, for beginners with Lenormand, my guidance, you know, my advice, if anyone wants it, is stick with the traditional Lenormand deck for years before you branch out into these other additional decks. So, yeah, I do use it predominantly for work readings, and it works fantastic. I really, really enjoy it. Not something I do a lot of, because I guess I just don't need to for me personally for work. I don't do a lot of readings on my own work issues. I prefer to just tackle them. You know, it's only if things get really sticky out there in my mainstream sort of a role that I will pull this one out. So that's Lua Lenormand by Marie Bento. Okay. The Zen Lenormand is one I acquired not that long ago. I came across this from a review that Lisa Young Sutton did on her channel. She talked about it, and I looked it up, and I did contact the creator in India, and yeah, purchased the deck through her. It's fantastic. I love it. And the reason why I love it, You know, I've got to stop saying how much I love these decks without giving you guys concrete reasons for that. But for me, it's just the sheer simplicity of it. And yes, it does have a very zen, calming quality to it. But as you can see, the objects or the people are just so simply done. It does invite a feeling of calmness and zen. So it's very true to its name. I really appreciate the way that it's been done, and I have done a review of this on my channel. You can search for it and find it somewhere among the many videos I've uploaded. But yes, very simple, very effective. You know, a whip is a whip. There's nothing else in the card, nothing to distract you, nothing else to confuse you. Absolutely beautiful. Up next, one of my best decks that I work with over and over again is the Rana George Lenormand. I bought the second hand. I think I paid like $15 a couple of years ago. She's done a brilliant job. I mean, it's actually illustrated by, the artwork is by Kelly L. French. But it would have been under the instruction of Rana, and, you know, as a top, I'm fairly confident saying that Rana is one of those like top Lenormand readers out there in the world. She's done a brilliant job of creating this deck with a Middle Eastern flavor. She herself is from Lebanon, I believe, although living in the US when this came out, and now she's moved to Morocco, I believe. I do follow her page. Anyway, nice little magnetic clip. You open it up, it comes with a nice, very informative book. And then the cards are, you know, you've got to divide them into two. The only thing with this deck is that it has 40 cards. So Rana did an extra 4 cards. And it's up to you whether you choose to incorporate those in the readings. I do. But they can be a bit confusing sometimes. So this is the, like, for example, one of the extras is the Spirit card. And we've got a few others. But nonetheless, fairly easy to work with. Like, that's the mice card, you know, there's the bear, the garden, the house, the book. Self-explanatory for the most part, and I am quite fond of the way it's been done. It does have that sort of rich, opulent Arabian Nights feel about it. I wouldn't expect anything else from a deck that comes out of the Middle East. It is just really beautifully executed. That's one of the extra cards, which is about you know, like a trading center in the city. So it's like a card of work, for example. She does in her book explain the meanings behind them. But anyway, the Rana George Lenormand is certainly one of my top reading decks that I use this every week, just about. And this is followed by the Celtic Lenormand. I think I've done a review of this. The artwork is by Will Worthington. He's done some other decks that I can't think of at the top of my head just now, but gorgeous artwork. And booklet that also helps with the interpretations. And I'll show you just very briefly the cards. It does include an extra man and a lady card, which is really nice, and there's a few other extra cards in it as well. But yeah, simple, effective, and absolutely gorgeous, like beautifully illustrated. You know, Will's art is just a delight to the eyes, really. So beautiful, and with a Celtic flair naturally. So yeah, the cardstock's really sturdy. It does withstand shuffling really well, and I turn to this deck quite regularly for pragmatic readings. This is like a client deck as well. Not that I do, like I said, a lot of Lenormand readings for clients, or this is very rarely used in client readings, but it's one that I would be consistently using in the future. And then we have the, I think this is second to last, Malpertuis Lenormand, second edition. Don't know if that's how you say it, but I saw this on a Facebook, you know, buy group, and I just knew I had to get it because I had actually seen this on the creator's website, They do have a website listing quite a few Lenormand decks, and they're all gorgeous. However, the cost is not cheap and the shipping fees are also not cheap. So this means that all of their decks I only get them when I see them secondhand. So that's the box for it, but I keep it in this bag. It was just like a real cheap bag. Sorry, sounds terrible. Incredibly beautiful. I'll show you some of the images. Really sturdy cardstock, and I love that about it too. But there's something about this sort of ethereal, atmospheric feel to these cards. I can't put my finger on it. A bit vintage, a bit atmospheric, a bit noir, a bit romantic. It's got a really nice mix of flavors that blend really, really beautifully together. Not sure whether I'd recommend this for beginners, but gosh, I love it so much. Yeah, it's really delightful. So this is the Malpertuis. Again, I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, and apologies if I have butchered the name. Another Lenormand that's in the same sort of vintagey, atmospheric, romantic feel is the Monarch Lenormand. I ordered this from the creator. He is in Germany. I ordered this during the pandemic at some point, and it literally took like 5 months to get to my house from the moment that I actually placed the order and paid for it. And I mean, I don't mind waiting if it's something worthwhile, you know. You wait for it. It's worth it. But yeah, gosh, what can I say about it? Really, really brilliantly executed. Simple, okay, like that's the mouse card. It can't be any simpler than that. The moon, the scythe, like it's the cross. Right, it's so not cluttered, very simple. One of my first Lenormand reviews on my channel from a long time ago, when I had no idea what I was doing with the camera or with filming, and to be honest, I still don't know. I'm not really techie at all, let's face it. But anyway, so yeah, I've done a review of it, and you can check that out if you're so inclined. But it remains a treasured deck for me, because it just makes me feel uplifted in a really calm way. I don't like decks that are like super energizing and busy. They've got to be done right. So, you know, you can consider, for example, Rana George's deck a bit of a busy deck with the way that it's done, but I still see this as a very workable deck, even though it's you know, quite a bit more busier than the Monarch. Anyway, I highly rate this deck. Basically, it's absolutely stunning for readings. And you know, the other thing with it that really stands out is the color. You know, when you do like a linear reading, which is the bread and butter of Lenormand, or even a box reading like a 9-card box, you get a flow of what's happening simply by looking at the colors, you know, like the contrast with the blues, you know, so dark with the coffin. Again, very, very almost melancholic with the ship. And then you have like the lady card, you know, there's like this color really popping up, and if all the cards are along this sort of color scheme, like all the blues, and then you get one that's yellow and more vibrant, it just makes that card pop up against all the others. And I do read that. I do pay attention to that in decks like these, not with other decks. Anyway, so that's the Monarch. You can purchase this on the Etsy shop. I don't think it's available anywhere else. And next, the Gypsy Lenormand Oracle deck by Bruno Bieri. I got this year. I think I paid around $45 for it, excluding shipping, secondhand, obviously. The box is battered and bruised, but I was quite intrigued by the deck looking online at some of the images, and I don't know, you know, some decks you just gotta have. even though there's no rational reason really why you need another Lenormand deck, even though you don't agree with the way some of the images have been made, and I don't, actually. Let me just see. So this is by A.G. Mueller. It's out of print. You won't find it unless you come across it secondhand. Yeah, a bit different in the way, you know, like with the fox. I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's just a bit unusual. I'm still can't say I'm very comfortable reading with this deck. Like, you know, it's not like the Celtic or Rana George or any of the classic Lenormands or the Monarch or any of my others. This one's, I feel like I gotta do something to connect with this deck a bit more. I don't know whether I should do a ritual or I'm not sure, because I really want to. I love it, but it's sort of foreign to me. It's a bit of an enigma to me. Some of the scenes and some of the cards and the way that they're shown. I don't know. If anybody out there works with this deck and you've got any insights to offer, please feel free to do so. So anyway, that's the Gypsy Lenormand by Bruno Bieri, the English edition. Yeah. So I think last but not least is another second-hand acquisition. Very surprised by this. I saw it online. It came up fairly affordable. I think I bought it with other decks at the time so that the shipping would be, you know, super affordable. And I didn't realize actually when I got it, or when I ordered it, I didn't realize that the cards are huge compared to a Lenormand deck. Like, you know, this is a standard Lenormand deck, and this is the golden, right? I mean, they're absolutely big. They feel more like oracle cards, and that's my biggest criticism of this deck. I don't like big cards, and especially with Lenormand, which is really steeped in a tradition of having small cards. So, what can I say about it though, is that, hang on. Is that it's been incredibly accurate. Like, I mean, I've just connected with this instantly. And that happens sometimes with some decks, you know, and then with others, like the Gypsy Lenormand I just showed you, it may never happen. Who knows why exactly that is. The Golden Lenormand was created by Lunaire with Weatherstone, and it's published by Los Scarabeo. However, I do have an issue with this deck. Aside from the size of the cards, and my issue is that when you open it up, it says that the instructions are by Lunaire Weatherstone, and it doesn't actually say who did the artwork, right? Who worked on doing the artwork? Even if the images are taken from classical, you know, images or older images, I don't care. But to me, it feels like the way that they say that the instructions were by Lunaire, but then they're not telling me who the actual artist is, even if they're just a digital person, you know, that just puts the images together on a computer. I don't care. I think if you work in the divination scene and you know anything about the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, and you know about Pamela Coleman Smith essentially dying penniless in an unmarked grave without ever being recognized for her creative input in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you know, if you create a deck, Lenormand, Tarot, Oracle, doesn't matter. To me, it's a big no-no to not give credit to the actual person that, makes, you know, puts the images together. Even with the cards being as big as they are, I have found this deck brilliant. So go figure. You can never tell what decks will gel with you or what decks you will gel with and which ones you won't. I don't know about other people, but that's like one of my quirks in like selecting decks. I'll go, oh yeah, I'm not sure about that one, and then it turns out to be fantastic, and then others I love so much, and then I come to read with them and it's like, what is going on here? Because it's just not working out. So yeah, the images are very simple. It keeps to the traditional Lenormand very well. It does have this sort of like a goldish gold foil. I don't know, it doesn't really come up with the lighting. I'm very sorry. Here you go. You might actually see that like that. You can see the gold foil like in the background. It's like a pebbly sort of, I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, very heavily laminated as well, which is another one of my pet peeves. So it's like this deck ticks off all the things that irritate me in a deck creation. Large cards for Lenormand, you know, the actual artist not being recognized. Yeah, like so many things that, you know, heavily laminated and so on. And then, yeah, reads like a dream. So, you know, yeah, go and make sense of the world. I think sometimes this happens on purpose to, you know, to reinforce that the world isn't black and white, and to not see the world as black and white, which is a very dangerous thing to do. Personally, that's my view, and that's a different conversation for another time. So I hope I have captured them all. That's 18 Lenormand decks. I might get up to 20 at some stage, who knows. I don't plan on selling any of them except perhaps the fairy tale, but I love the artwork so much, like I said, I don't really want to do that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now, and I thank you all for joining me on this rather longer video. I hope I haven't rambled on too much, which I know I tend to when I can't help it, because I'm a Sagittarius and preaching is like breathing sometimes. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope it was entertaining or informative in some ways for you, and until my next video, take care.